off there.
No. Oh well. It stopped recording for some reason, but we got 2 viewers.
So anyway, what else? Anybody got any questions? They can send a question in to us right now.
Right.
We're brand new at this. We're trying to get caught up on getting things going here. So
we're technology at
we're not very. You can look over here and tell we're not got a whole lot going on here, and I sure don't know anything about it. So we need somebody like, I know Bill Hall's out there watching, and Bill, we need somebody like you that might be able to help us out with some.
Who's Bill?
Bill Hall used to hang around at Phoenix and take a lot of pictures, and you know, I ain't gonna say he was Steve Bartdoll's boy, but he may not like that too much. But
we don't really care, do we?
But no, it was really a great weekend at Atlanta, man. It was. Sunday was miserable, but other than that, it was.
Yeah, it was cold. I hope it gets a little warmer before Martinsville gets here.
Man, Lee says it was cold, just as cold there as anywhere he's been since he's been racing.
You know, I want to say too, this month is MS month, and we have the Zims Foundation. You can't quite see all of it down there. It's the Zims Foundation, and we got some goodies, and we're going to have to make something up, or some kind of contest, or somebody can come in, and we can give them a prize pack of some Under Armour shirt, towel, backpack, something that they give us some giveaway stuff for us, and you can see me at Arena Racing. We'll give a few things away. But it's MS month. Just try to raise awareness for MS.
And that's one of your sponsors on your race car, or your?
It is. I would say they're sponsors, but we try to help them raise awareness for MS. Ron's mom's got MS. She's been confined to a wheelchair for 10 to 15 years. Yeah, and she's a pretty severe case of it. And you don't realize like how bad the disease is until you meet somebody that has it as severe as she does. So we want to thank those guys for giving us a bunch of stuff. I mean, heck, those things are $50, $60 a piece there that we get to give away. And that's pretty cool. So it's not no cheap shirt like that shirt you got on.
All right. Well, you just threw me under the bus real big time, didn't you?
Fair to say something. Now, I wonder what, I see that Kurt Busch has agreed to some type of program. I don't know what that, of course they haven't said, but what that program might be.
I'm sure.
I would imagine it's got to be some anger management or some therapy of some sort.
Yeah. It has to be, and there's no doubt about it. It's got to be some kind of anger management. It's also in the thing the judge put out when they made the decision about moving it along, whatever. The anger management was one of the things he's got to go through, and that's exactly what they did. They've got to go through the anger management. That's got to be part of it. But he's not been found guilty of anything.
Yeah, and that's kind of the sad part. But I think a lot of it's like what the NFL's went through. I think it's a little bit of both sides on that whole ordeal. Mm-hmm. But you know, in the bad, to me, what is NASCAR going to say or do when they don't press charges against him, or if they don't? Now, I'm not saying they are or they're not, but if they don't. Just somebody's statement carries that much clout.
You can't base it on somebody's. I would think, in my opinion, you gotta let him.
The judicial system.
Yeah, let its court let that run. If you've not been charged with anything, and all they're saying is beyond a shadow of a doubt in somebody's mind that happened. No, You can't say that it happened that way. You gotta have something to say it did happen before you take a man out of his car, take his livelihood away from him, basically.
And he will be scarred for life for this.
Oh yeah, and Chevrolet has dumped him completely. You don't get charged, and then what happens next? Does Chevrolet come back and say, all right, we'll let you go back? You cannot find a Kurt Busch anything at the racetrack. You cannot have anything remote. I mean, all that was pulled. And
yeah, that was kind of crazy.
I understand it. I understand what they're trying to do, but I don't know that you're setting yourself up for something different here. And we don't know. We don't know.
Right.
We
and
don't
they may know something that we don't.
Yeah, and
they probably do. They're smarter than us.
Well, you don't have to be a whole lot smarter than you and me, but the thing about it is they know that there's something going on there that they've got to be aware of, and maybe that's the reason why it is. I just have my doubts. I mean, I just think, you know.
I'm kind of with you on that.
With the Ray Rice thing in football, that was a cut and dry deal.
That was a totally different.
But
he
I'm saying
needs to go to jail.
Right, but I'm saying that was cut and dry. You knew exactly what transpired there.
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence on that one.
So
I don't mean to laugh at that, but there was.
It was a lot of evidence, and that's just the way it is.
And I will say, when you drive from D.C. to Dover, somewhere you got to take responsibility.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And you enter somebody else's motorhome that you do not live in. That's his home. Just because you used to date him and you have a key or the code to get in his door.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So it's a sad deal. I feel for both of them. I'm not condoning anybody beating on anybody.
No, I mean I wouldn't want anybody to be in that situation. But what does it take?
Did you get a hold of Matt there yet?
No, I haven't got. I've been trying to get a hold of Matt, and now I'm gonna try to get a hold of Kaz Gralla. We're going.
See, I think he's probably out of his driving class this time. Last time he called, he was in.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. He was.
Well, I have to see if he passed or not.
Did you get your driver's license or not, man?
What a good young kid, though.
All right, here we're gonna get Kaz on. Got a thing here from Bill Hull. When you get convicted in the media, you have no chance for recovery, especially being known as a hothead. True.
Hi,
How you doing, Mr. Kaz Gralla? This is Jack Dodson. How you doing, man?
I've never been to How about yourself?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad to hear you're doing good.
Hey, we want to know, did you pass your driving test? Last time we talked to you, you were taking taking driver's class.
You know, I can't hear you very well. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you. I tend to mumble or not talk loud enough. We were just wondering, did you get your driver's license? Kaz? Oh, you turn. Hold on.
Are you there?
I hear you now. Can you still hear me?
Okay, you hear me better now?
Yeah, that seems better.
All right, cool. Now, he was asking the question, did you get your driver's license? The last time we talked to you, you were getting ready to get your driver's license. You were going through...
you were in class. You had to get out of class.
Oh, I remember that. Yes, I was a driver's test. And I did pass my driver's ed test, which means now I have my permit, but I won't have my license until July.
But how old are you?
I'm 16, so I'll be 16 and a half in July, and that's when you can get your driver's license in Massachusetts.
Oh, very good, very good. Now, it's kind of weird that you don't have a driver's license, but yet you can drive a race car like you do.
It is. It's pretty funny, actually. And a lot of people, when I tell them that I race, they can't believe that I'm allowed to do that, considering I don't have a driver's license.
Yeah, really. Well, now tell us about 2015. You got a new ride this year. Tell us a little bit about it and how it all came about.
Yeah, I'm with Ben Kennedy Racing this year, full-time in the K&N series. And last season, the whole year, it seemed like I was right near Kenzie's Points, who was the driver for the team last year. Mm-hmm. So we got to know the team pretty well, because in K&N, you park your hauler next to the people who you're near in points. It goes in order of points. So we got to know them pretty well. They're a great bunch of guys. We got to pay attention to them a little bit on the track. We could see the car was really, really fast. Kenzie had some great results. So we thought that would be a pretty great transition for 2015. get into that car.
Well, that's pretty good that and how was your first race at New Smyrna? How did everything go down there?
You know, the result wasn't that great. We ended up 18th with a lot of damage. But before that, it was on track to be one of my best races in the series yet. I qualified outside pole, which is my best qualifying by quite a bit. My previous best qualifying was 5th, so that was a pretty big jump right there, right off the bat in the first race. So I was really happy with that. We ran second for a while. We fell back a little bit to save tires. Just when I was getting ready to start coming back forward, on a restart, somebody ahead of us missed a shift. And I jumped out of line to miss the guy in front of me. And then the guy in front of me did the same thing I did. Ended up just hitting me on my right front really hard. And there was a wreck from there, and we got some damage. But the Mediterranean Racing guys worked really hard in pit lane. Got me back out there. We only lost 2 laps throughout the whole race. We were able to finish the race. And the car, even with some damage, was still pretty quick. So I was definitely impressed with the way they worked with the car in the race. So I think we'll have no problem coming back from this finish this season. I think we'll be right back up there in points.
Well, good. I mean, I'm glad to see you got a good shot with a good team. So it's really good that you got into that. Who's your crew chief and everything this year?
My crew chief is Mike Fritz, and he's been with the team for a couple of years now. He's been at all levels of racing. So I think his experience is going to be really, really key this season. Even though I'm not a rookie in the series this year, like I was last year, I still wouldn't say I'm one of the more experienced drivers in the series. There's definitely some people that have some more experience than I do. So I think Mike Fritz's experience will be pretty key for us this year, for him to be able to share that with me and bring that in on the setup as well as the driving, because he used to be quite the driver himself.
But I think that's kind of nice too when you deal with somebody that's driven, so they kind of relate and know what you're trying to get across to them. Because it seems like that's the hardest thing sometimes, is communication between the driver and the crew chief.
I agree. I feel like a lot of the crew chiefs that I've worked with who have been drivers just seem to have a better understanding of the feedback. For instance, this past race with Mike Fritz, whenever I would come in and give him my feedback, he almost didn't even ask any other questions. He just went back and he knew exactly what to do on the car, and I'd go out the next time, and the car would be exactly how I wanted it to be. So I think that is going to be a huge part of this season.
So what racetracks are you looking forward to? Because is this your 3rd full season or your 2nd?
This is my 2nd full season.
Okay.
So I think last year, some of my favorite tracks definitely got to be Iowa, which I'm pretty excited about this year, especially since we go there twice. It's the only track we go to twice per season. Watkins Glen was a really fun one last year. I love road courses.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit different. You know, it's good to get out of the routine of just regular ovals, so I love the road courses. And Watkins Glen is, of course, a really, really famous one, a really fast one. And, I mean, I'm a race car driver. I love speed, so Watkins Glen is a great one. And Dover, again, with the speed factor, all the banking there, that's the biggest track we go to, the most banked track we go to. That one was just a blast last year, and that's where I got my best finish of the season, too.
Oh, where'd you end up there?
14, so I'm looking forward to going back there again.
And you had some real good runs last year with your Turner Scott team, and it was kind of sad to see them go away like they did and under the circumstances. And I'm just glad that you were able to come out of that with another ride. I mean, because there's a lot of people that didn't come out as well as you did.
Yeah, we had a great season last year. I got to learn all the tracks. I got to learn what it's like to have a bunch of teammates. Last year I had 4. And they were very helpful to me as far as advice because all of them had competed in K9 before when I got there. So I was able to ask them anything I wanted throughout the season. But I think most of the employees there were able to transfer over. Now they work for H. Scott Motorsports, which is kind of essentially what the team turned into. There's some changes, but most of the people were able to keep their jobs. A lot of the drivers have moved up and moved on to bigger things. So I think it ended up being fairly peaceful in the end, which I'm happy about.
Mm-hmm. So what is your plan moving forward? Do you want to stay in the K&N for the next 2 years or 3 years? Are you trying to do some truck rides, or can you run the trucks until you're 16, or can you run just the 1 miles and shorter?
Right. So this year being 16, I can run all of the truck races that are on the track at the mile or under in length. So I believe that's about 10 races. Right now we don't have anything planned for trucks, but definitely sponsor dependent. I would not say no to a truck race. I don't think anybody would.
Right.
Well, it's got to be good that Ben's in a good. He's with a good truck team, and be able to work something maybe there with them, and have somebody like Ben to be kind of like your mentor.
Exactly. If I had the opportunity to get into a truck, Ben Kennedy would definitely be the first person that I talk to, because he just recently last year made the leap from a K9 car to a truck. And of course, he's my team owner this year, so I think he'd be happy to answer any questions that I have and give me a little bit of advice. So that would be extremely helpful for me.
Well, Cass, one thing that really, it's got to be interesting for you to be driving for Ben and that team with the history that he's got in the sport, or his family has in the sport, I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be an interesting thing to be tied in with that, being where you're from and being tied in with the Kennedys, or, basically the Francis
family, yeah.
It is. It's a huge opportunity for me, which I could not be any happier about. Not only is the car fast, but of course it's a great connection to have. I've gotten to meet the whole family. They're a great family. We've spent some time over the last couple of months in Daytona with them. And I think it's really just a family organization, a family situation at Ben Kennedy Racing. So I think that's one of the best parts of it. We just have fun at the track, at the shop, at dinner, wherever we are. We always have fun. The whole team, the family. So it's just a good environment over there.
Now, do you work in the shop during the week some?
Well, I live in Massachusetts, so I don't get to go down there as often as I like. But during the off-season, we tried to get down as much as we could to, check things out, get the seats fitted, meet all the guys, get all the little odds and ends worked out for the season. So I don't actually work at the shop as in a job.
I got you.
But I definitely get there as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I try to learn about the cars and figure out how all the mechanics work and all that.
Yeah, school gets in the way.
Yeah, school definitely gets in the way this time of year. During the summer, hopefully I'll be able to go down there even more and hang out with the guys and look at the cars some more.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have any technical alliance with anybody? And who do you go to at the racetrack when you go somewhere and you're not familiar with the racetrack, or you're not sure what to do? Who do you go talk to for advice?
Well, I've only gotten to have one race with them, but I'd say Mike Fritz and Ben Kennedy are some obvious answers. But I definitely spent a lot of time talking to them at New Smyrna. Ben was giving me my lap times actually every single lap, so he was watching really closely. He was on the radio. He was involved in the whole operation. And then Mike, the crew chief, was of course involved. And as we talked about, he was a former driver, so I could, and Ben is a current driver, so I could talk to both of them about how I could drive, as well as I could talk to Mike about the setup and his feedback there. So I think I'm going going to be talking to the both of them quite a bit this year.
Now that leads me to do you get into the setups part of the car, or do you just sort of let the crew chief handle it and you just tell them what the car is doing, or are you interested enough to say, hey, are you changing a spring, and why are you changing a spring?
I do have him tell me exactly what he's doing, and I try to understand it in my head. And that's part of why I've been going to the shop so much, why I'm going to continue going. Mm-hmm. I've been looking at the cars when they're all stripped down and try to figure out how each part works and how it affects the car and what it would do if you adjusted it one way versus another way. So that's something I don't have a really firm grasp on yet, but that's something I'm definitely working to get stronger in this year, and hopefully by the end of the season, I'll be able to tell Mike, what change I would be thinking. As for right now, I'm giving him really detailed feedback on what the car is doing, and then letting him tell me what he'd like to change, and then I'm kind of putting that in my memory bank and trying to understand how it works afterwards.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting how some people are the setup knowledgeable and some that are not. I mean, when Jeff Gordon come in, he didn't know anything about a chassis. He just knew if it was loose or tight. And then he did okay.
I was in Atlanta.
I think he's done all right for himself.
Yeah.
I was in Atlanta this weekend, and I was listening on the radio to a couple of the guys, and there's a couple of them that they want to know the exact change you make and everything. And then you got some say, look, just do whatever you got to do. I'll drive it. And I think it's better that you know what you're dealing with than just being in there behind the wheel and driving.
Exactly. And I think some of the most successful drivers, and I'm sure Jeff Gordon by now, has gotten a good enough understanding of the car that they can communicate to their crew chief what change they think would be good. Not necessarily knowing it will be good, still the crew chief makes that decision, but suggesting a change, I think that's really important. I know Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch, guys like that, the guys that run really consistently, really well every single week, I know that they have a really great understanding of the chassis and how each and every bit of it works. So that's what I'm trying to get towards right now. So I've started getting there. I'm starting to understand more things, but I definitely would not call myself an expert on it by any stretch at this point. But by 2016, I'm hoping I will be.
Do you like them to try things and not tell you about it?
I've worked both ways. I've had teams that have different philosophies on whether they should tell me or not. This year, I'm having them tell me what the change is and what it should change before I go out, so I have that in my head. Some people don't like to do that. I think that's just a matter of taste and a matter of opinion, but I don't mind it. It doesn't affect the way I drive or the way I think coming in, so I just have them tell me so I have an idea of what's going on and I can visualize it in my head.
All right, Kaz. Well, we're gonna let you get back to doing what you were doing. Hopefully, we'll get to talk to you again. And good luck to you for the next few weeks. And I'll give you a call later on, and we'll get together.
Sounds good to me. Thank you for having me on again.
Hey, man, we really appreciate it. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Call whoever that was.
Whoever that was.
Yeah. Hey, it's hard to believe how young that kid is.
Tell me about it. The excitement I saw him at Langley.
Yeah.
Hello. How you doing, Roger? This is Jack Dodson with Jack Dodson's Insider Racing News. How you doing tonight?
You doing okay?
Do what?
I said, you doing okay? I'm doing fine.
Oh, good. I'm glad. We had a little mix-up here. We're starting a new show here and getting some things going. And I'm sorry we wasn't here when you called, but we got it straight now.
Sounds good.
Well, tell us a little bit about Roger Carr. We had Bobby Hamilton on a couple weeks ago. He was our first guest, and he was telling us a little bit about the racing and stuff. Tell us a little bit about Roger Carter Racing and what all you got going on down there.
We're running a 3-car team right now. We run the 40, the 97, and the 95. We ran through top. We just went to the 330. You know, we're just, working towards, building a real competitive. In the 97 car, we're working on all the new, engine rules they came out with, and, moving to the new program with the L1 motor and composite bodies and all that over the course of this year. So, we're really hoping to, start running on the top, top 5 with him. We're hoping by Talladega we should have that straightened around where we have the capabilities to do so.
Well, I keep up with your racing, your team, and everything. And is it really hard? I know you're dealing with the Dodge products and stuff. Is it really hard to be able to do that? Hello, you there?
Yeah, we lost him. Call decline. Yeah, I thought it was fine on there.
I did too. I don't know what the deal was there. Wow. One day we're going to get all this stuff straight. And
Well, that's just the phone. That we ain't got no control over.
Well, we'll try it again.
Call from 7
He's calling.
0 4 7 7 5.
How you doing, Mr. West? Sorry, it's something going on with the phones. All right, what I was asking was, is it really hard to do? You're dealing with the Dodge products. Is it really hard to do that with the Dodge not being in the racing like they were and being able to get some support from them?
Well, yeah, because we don't get any support from them at all. I used to get support from them. That's why I originally went to Dodge. I used to work pretty close with Abraham. And we got a lot of help then, but at this point you don't get really any help from Dodge. But with that being said, in the RV series it's really hard to get any help from any manufacturer. So, but with them not being in the sport yet, and with the new changes that ARCA came out with, we were actually have Toyota and Dodge, and it hurt us on both ends because the only improved motor for the Toyotas is the Hillmore 396. So I either have to run the new Hillmore motor or not run Toyota. And with Dodge, with the composite body situation, they didn't make a new composite body for it, so we either have to stick with the steel bodies and run out my Dodge motor, or I can't run the Dodge motor because they don't have a composite body. So it's a little bit of a challenge for us with the changes that came out, but we're working through it, and eventually, the way it looks, will probably be with the Chevrolet composite body with the Hillmore 396 motor. So.
It's got to be. Do you build your own motors? I mean, it's got to be hard to get the product, to get the pieces that you need.
Well, I mean, I've had enough, over the course of the years of being with Dodge since late 2005. We have quite a supply of Dodge parts. The biggest thing is not the motors, because we have a bunch of motors that we own, but it's the body components that are becoming a big problem. The noses, the tails, and the hoods and the trunks and so forth are becoming very scarce, and that's one of our biggest challenges. Like I say, we're going to make the change, and I'm okay with it, and we're racing, things change every day, and we just got to work on making that change. So it's unfortunate. I hate to see Dodge leaving. They were great for the sport. We had a real good working relationship with Dodge, and I really hated to get away.
Do you ever think that they will come back?
That I don't know. That I really can't answer. I know from my understanding, from everyone that I've talked to, that not in the immediate future. I don't think they've got their hands too far off of it, but I don't think they're really intended on coming back anytime soon.
I mean, I really hated to see that.
Yeah, it was myself included. I really hated to see the Dodge get out of it, because they were good folks to work with.
Now, y'all just tested Mobile a couple weeks ago, or last week or sometime. How did that go for you? Are you looking forward to go to Mobile and race down there?
Actually, the test from Mobile was this weekend,
Oh.
and we are going out with one car with Ronnie Osmond. We're gonna take Bobby's car down there, but we decided, I mean, we've been to Mobile a lot, so I'm not real concerned about, going back there without testing. But we are gonna test Ronnie because he has to get his final approval from us, and they have to observe it. So we're gonna go down there and let him test. So.
Well, I thought there was some cars down there testing the other day, not too long ago. That anyway.
Well, you're correct on that. There was, but that wasn't the open test. I think just I think the 78 and 98 were down there doing testing. One of which was looking on the body, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, how did Roger Carter get started in racing and get to the point where he's at now as an ARCA owner?
Well, that's quite a long story, but it originates when I was in high school. I had a friend that went to high school with that had a relative down here, and I came with him to visit his family one summer. I met a guy named Dick Bear, and I was in high school at the time. I became good friends with him, and he actually was the field of Ricky Walsh's cup car at the time. And we just struck up a good friendship, and in the early 90s, I had some car dealerships up in Michigan, and I wanted to get into the racing deal at a bigger level than we were up in Michigan. And I talked to him, and actually Papa Joe Hendricks helped me out a lot. And I bought one of the movie cars from the movie Days of Thunder. I bought one of the 46 Chevrolet from Papa Joe Hendricks, excuse me, and he said for display at one of my car dealerships, and it just kind of took off from there. And then, in the 90s, early 90s, I started doing some stuff with Dick Bear as far as the cup side of it, and started working towards the team. And the first ARCA car that I personally brought up myself was in 1994 at Daytona, and we've been doing it ever since.
Why have you stayed with the ARCA series as compared to maybe going to like the truck series or somewhere like that? You seem very loyal to the ARCA series.
I'm very loyal to the ARCA series for a lot of reasons, but I have done the truck series. I have co-owned a Cup East, and I have did the Bush series, doing the Bush series, and some nationwide stuff. But my loyalty's always been with ARCA, and they're such a great series, and they've always been a good deal with years. And I think for a developmental series, and as far as series overall, I think it's all a developmental series. That's kind of what it's turned into. But it's just a great series to race overall. Because the people that are involved in it, from the officials, Ron Drager and Joe Wells, they're just some of the biggest people in the world to work with. And they appreciate you being there, and they work hard to grow their series, and they work close with their car owners, and that's very much appreciated. And that's why I stay so loyal to the series.
Yeah, it's a great series. I love it. It's some of the better racing that I've seen on the speedways. It comes from the ARCA series, I believe. I think it's some of the best racing out there.
Well, I would agree with you, not being partial to it, but yeah, I mean, and when we get a group of competitive cars, it's very close racing, and it's getting better. We're dealing with some of the same spreads like NASCAR is right now. I think that we're tightening up, and I think the new engine program is going to help out a lot. The competitiveness side of it, and that's where I'm really striving to get it. Because my team has been, I always call it a 10 to 15 team, and that's where we run our best because of the limited budget, and our engine program has never been. We didn't lease motors and spend all the extra money that a lot of other teams can afford to do. So I think the new engine program is really going to help even that out. I think they're going to go that out. I am really looking forward to the new engine deal once we get all our pieces in place. So.
And you still do driving off and on too, don't you? Did you like to scratch that itch every now and then, like the regular guys like us like to do?
Yeah, I would run a lot more. I'm like anybody. They always say how come I don't. I get asked all the time how come I don't race more. And the reason goes right next to the fact that I don't drive one of my cars unless the funding's there. I don't have. It's no different from myself or anyone else that wants to race. I'm in the my husband to race every week, but you know, on the collar side of it, I really enjoy it. And you know, I'll run a handful of races this year. Michigan's definitely be one. Excuse me, and you know, Kentucky, and probably one of the Poconos, and Chicago, Italy.
Well, I hope you get out there a little bit more too. I enjoy watching you race. I mean, I was at Kansas a few years ago, and it was pretty good racing. I love the ARCA series.
Yeah, it really is, and with all these with the level of competition we can right now in the drivers' series is very good. And you know, I was commenting to someone the other day about how talented the drivers are that we have right now. They don't, you know, we don't run over each other, and you know, we all race each other with respect. And you know, it's pretty rare for what they call a development series. So,
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite track to go to as a
my
driver?
favorite track would be one of my favorite tracks would be Kentucky. I think Kentucky's probably one of my favorite speedways. Short tracks would be Salem, yes, for sure.
Well, it's a lot. The ARCA series has got a lot of good people that's developed well. Guys like Frank Kimmel is still in the sport. I mean, he's been around forever. It's good to have the young and the older guys there to bring the sport along.
Yeah, it's a good combination. I mean, you got a lot of veterans there that, you know, you got a lot of your younger kids that, you know, we do it on both spectrum of both ends. I've got some, you know, like Ronnie Osborne's 15 years old, and, you know, he just got us driving a mobile for us. And, you know, I've got him as far as, you know, I've had a 61, 62-year-old that drive for us. So that's the great thing about the series. There's no limitations on it as far as I go. You have a huge spread of age, and you know, it's just kind of fun to develop either an older gentleman or what you got for a younger person. You know, it's a good series for that. Because I got some guys that race for us that are, you know, going on 55 years old that never been in any kind of like these cars before. You know, and just starting to have some type of career. They're actually at the same stage as these younger kids are. It's really kind of neat. So.
Well, Jack, you might have a shot then, man.
You graduate from arena cars. We'll talk about that later. Where is your shop at, Roger? I'm down in the Charlotte area. Like, where is your shop at?
Well, we're on the beaten path a little bit. I'm up in Asheboro, so we're up, you know, in Asheboro, North Carolina, and very nice area up there. A lot of nice people. I spent most of my racing career in either Statesville or Mooresville, and I just got to a point where I liked it a little bit off the beaten path. Like, you know, again, it goes back to finances, but I could get a lot more for my money in Asheville, and you know, we have a nice shop up there, all the stuff that we need. So, as opposed to when I was in Mooresville, the cost is a lot higher. So.
Now, do you have like crew members move from team to team as bad as you do, like in the Cup Series or Nationwide and stuff?
I have a crew chief for the 97 and a crew chief for the 40, and I kind of use in terms for the 95. You know, we use different crew chiefs for that. But yes, for the 97 and the 40, they have their own crew.
So you don't have a lot of turnover within your team, or
I try not to. For the most part, no. But this business can be that way, and you know, it kind of goes in cycles. Right now, the people that I have either have been with me or worked for me in the past. So I have Andy that's with me now. He was with me from 2006. So you know, we go back quite a way.
Well, Mr. Carr, we appreciate you spending a little time with us tonight, and hopefully we'll get you back on here again and get into more details about your racing and see how the season's going for you.
That sounds good. So I look forward to it, and like I say, we're really putting a lot of effort into the 97, and I think that come by Talladega time, or by mid-May or June, I think that people are going to be surprised at how far that program's going to come. So I'd love to be back, and hopefully we can turn some heads and get this thing to the top 5. So.
All right, well, good. We hope so too, and we'll be pulling for you. And next time I'm down around the Asheboro area, I'm gonna stop by and see you.
That sounds great.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot. We appreciate your time tonight.
Good enough. We'll see you. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Well, I think we've had a decent show. I mean,
Yeah,
with
well-
big technical difficulties.
Well, not as big as we started out with, but we got
It's a little rough the first night.
But we're getting there.
I think we should have what's her name back on. Yeah, I think.
Manny?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. And I'm gonna, matter of fact, I'm gonna get in touch with them and get her back over here because we owe her that.
yeah, most definitely.
We owe her that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're getting there. We're a new show. We're gonna have some technical glitches. Bucky Burt, I talked to him the other day. He said you're gonna have that for the first little bit. He said you might as well be prepared for it. So we're prepared.
Well, we knew that. We didn't know it was going to be as tough as it was, but we knew that. Do we know who we're going to have on the show next week?
No, not yet. I've got a couple people that I've talked to. I haven't got any confirmation, but we'll come up and make the announcement sometime. Hopefully earlier than we did this time.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of people have to wait and see what they're scheduled. You're gonna have people in Vegas this time, going back and forth to Vegas, and because Lisa, they go to Vegas.
After they stop at In-N-Out.
Yeah, after they go to the In-N-Out Burger, they go to Vegas. Then they, he says, no, the 5 is going to do the test at Charlotte. That's what they said. The 5 is doing the test at
Well,
Charlotte.
for those bigger teams, it's not that big a deal. They have another truck trailer. They can just run. Well, hell, they could drive the damn car from their shop to Charlotte.
Well, they had the race in Atlanta. They flew back from Atlanta to Charlotte. Went to work as soon as they got home. Worked all night to get the Vegas car ready.
Really?
Got the
I
Vegas.
figured the car had already been ready.
Now they had to finish the Vegas car up and get it on the road.
Hmm.
Then they had to work on the Phoenix cars.
Why are they so far behind?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not there, so I can't tell you exactly. But they said they had to go through the setup plate for the Vegas cars.
Because there wasn't, normally it seems like there's always a big rule change throughout the winter, but there wasn't. I mean, there were some minor changes.
Well, Alan is he lets the shop crew get everything together, but I think he puts his guys, the front end guys, the back, the rear end guys, I think he puts them on the setup plate, getting the cars ready before they send them out. And I don't know that for a fact. I'm just giving you my
Now,
opinion.
are you surprised at how the speeds have sort of picked up, even though they've got 150 horsepower less?
It's unbelievable. But-
It is weird how, and I tend to do this in arena, is overdrive the car. And I've run faster if I would just slow down a little bit, but it's hard to convince yourself to do that.
And you looked at what they did, and I was listening to somebody on the radio talking about, it's more in their hands. It's more in the driver's hands now than it was. And they like that.
Well, they're going through the corner a lot faster than they did, and it's hard to tell people that, well, they took motor away, but they're going through the corner faster. Well, how can that be?
And AJ Allmendinger was on one of the shows this morning. He was talking
I
about
love him, man. He is funny.
He was on one of the shows, and he said, I fought that car all day long. He said, I didn't think it was anything to it. He said, then I got in the car to go home, and my chest was hurting. My arms were hurting. He said, I had to let somebody else drive me home. So
I would love to get him on. He would be funny.
I have worked trying to get him on show, and we're going to get
We'll
better.
corner him at Martinsville.
Yeah.
He's a little. We can intimidate him.
Oh, he's cool though. And I want to get Brendan Gaughan on here because I love Brendan Gaughan. I love talking to him. He is funny.
Yeah, he is funny.
And so-
Oh yeah, he'd be a great one too.
So we're going to get better. We just got to get there. Thank you for staying with us, and we promise you better as we go down the road. And Matty Ryan, we're coming to get you. We're going to get you back. So anyway, thanks. We want to thank Roger Carter. We want to thank Kaz Gralla, and we want to thank Ron Devine. And I'm going to find out what happened to Matt.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got some potential, maybe some
Yep.
drink.
I mean, drink a Pepsi.
Even though I used to be like really addicted to these things. My wife was like, yeah, you need to be drinking something. And it doesn't give me any energy like you would think. But, so it's a potential for us though.
So we'll
go get a,
get a
I'm on Mountain
Pepsi.
Dew.
We'll sell. We'll do whatever.
Hey, your son's a big,
Yes, the Hendrick Motorsports is big with the Pepsi product.
Yeah. But and he's a big Mountain Dew.
Yes, he is a big Mountain Dew
Yeah.
drinker.
Yeah. I knew I liked it. Got along with him for some reason. I
Well,
don't know what happened to you, but.
yeah, sometimes they just have problems with some of the people they get along with. All right, well, we appreciate your time and effort and being with us tonight. We're gonna get better, like I say.
Next week we'll be here again.
Yeah, we'll be here again next week, and we're gonna show you a good show next week too.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Good night.